Dr. Epling, I am Patrick Lenahan. I am studying for a Master of Science in Sports Administration. For my final project in our sports psychology course, I have chosen to focus on psychological skills training for high school and collegiate wrestlers, specifically in the area of anger management. Next slide, please. When I was a freshman at Michigan State University, I was fortunate to enroll in a wrestling class taught by Coach Doug Blubaugh. Coach Blubaugh was not only an Olympic gold medalist, but also was voted the outstanding wrestler of the Rome Olympics. Our class had only 12 students, so Coach Blubaugh gave us highly individualized instruction, especially regarding the management and control of anger. Next slide, please. While anger is a natural emotion, it must be controlled in competitive wrestling. Many boys, high school boys, turn to wrestling because they have anger issues in their personal lives, and their coaches successfully manage to channel that anger into winning on the wrestling ring. However, it can only take you so far because uncontrolled anger leads to penalties and poor performance. Moreover, anger causes you to lose your focus, and it takes more psychic energy and physical energy. It saps you of your strength over the course of a wrestling match. And it's important to conserve your strength and proceed in a workmanlike fashion in order to secure victory. Next slide, please. It causes wrestlers to lose their focus and make impulsive decisions. They make bad decisions because they are angry. Anger clouds your mind and also saps your strength. And so it's very easy to fall into a wrong move. For every move that your opponent makes, there is a required or recommended reaction. But anger can cause you to forget the right reaction to your opponent's move. And also, it can cause you to commit fouls. Wrestlers are not allowed to go for the eyes, eye gouging, or use a forearm, elbow. You are only allowed to touch the opponent's groin if you are underneath his groin and you are lifting and turning that opponent. Anger can cause you to do things that are excessively violent, even though wrestling seems to be somewhat of controlled violence. And so anger can cause you to lose points and be penalized. Effective anger management improves your concentration and your resilience to whatever your opponent is doing. And it helps you to be somewhat robotic, somewhat of an automaton. You know what you need to do, you execute the moves that you need to make at the right time, and you slowly but methodically work your way towards victory on the wrestling mat. Next slide, please. Muscle relaxation helps wrestlers to stay calm before and during matches. Coach Bluebot was a master of this. He would have his entire team before a dual meet. He would have them lay on the wood, the sidelines before before the meet, and he would have them practice progressive muscle relaxation in such detail that he would tell them to begin with the hair on your head and focus on it and try to relax it. Then move on to your eyebrows, wiggle them, move them, your eyelids, flutter them, your nose, wiggle it, your lips, move them all the way down to your toes. He would say, tell your body hello in every aspect and every area. You need to try to melt into the hardwood beneath you on the side of the wrestling mat. This group relaxation session also had an intimidating effect on his team's opponents because they would look slack-jawed at slack-jawed at this team performing this unusual muscle relaxation, and they would be a little bit worried about what will happen on the wrestling mat. Also, this was done, the muscle relaxation was done in conjunction with deep breathing exercises to reduce tension and promote relaxation. More about breathing exercises in an upcoming slide. Next slide, please. Positive self-talk can reinforce confidence and emotional control. Without knowing that it was a psychological construct, I have always practiced self-talk in the sense that I called it self-coaching. Even when doing mundane, ordinary daily tasks, I have been known to talk to myself out loud. For example, when I'm doing the laundry, I talk to myself about the proper way to load the machine, the exact amount of chemicals that I need, adjusting the machine's settings to be exactly the way I want it to be washed and cleaned. And sometimes people would come upon me doing an ordinary task and say to me, Patrick, are you talking to yourself? As if I was some sort of oddball. And I would say, yes, but I'm doing so with a purpose. I am coaching myself through this task to make sure that I do it properly. And that can reap benefits for you in many ways if you are always talking positively to yourself. It helps to do it out loud too, because then you hear a voice coaching you on what to do. And it's important for wrestlers to replace any negative thoughts with constructive affirmations. You talk to yourself about what hold I am going to try, what I'm going to do to manipulate this opponent, what I'm going to do to score points, win this match, especially by a pinning my opponent. Coach Bluebaugh told me that when he was wrestling an opponent, and as we all know, a lot of athletes do what they call trash talking. They talk to their opponent to try to psych them out. But Coach Bluebaugh said I would talk to myself out loud while I was wrestling, and my opponent would be a little bit put off and a little bit off his game because I'm not talking to him, I'm talking to myself. And I'm telling myself what to do as if there is a coach upon my shoulder. And sometimes it helps psychologically to overwhelm his opponent because the opponent sort of felt like there's more than one person wrestling me. And so self talk, or as I call it, self coaching, can be very, very helpful in terms of inducing positive thoughts, positive feelings, and being very specific about what I'm going to do next and then what I will do after that. And so it's very important for wrestlers to engage in self talk strategies. It works to their advantage. Next slide, please. In recent years, imagery and visualization have been found to be very, very productive aids in athletic competition. Visualization techniques help wrestlers mentally rehearse their matches. It's almost as if you are watching a video of yourself and your opponent, and you script it. You have studied this opponent, you have watched film of your opponent, you know your opponent's strengths and his weaknesses, and you know what holds you are going to attempt first, and you see yourself successfully doing those holds. You see yourself successfully defending against whatever he is going to do because you know what he is about to do and you are ready for him. And you see yourself in your mind in the first period, the second period, the third period. You never think of yourself as being behind. You always think of yourself as being ahead on points. And you are going for the ultimate goal, which is not to win. Your ultimate goal is to pin. And you see yourself pressing his shoulders into the ground for the count of 1, 2, 3. Victory is yours. It's been shown that imagery and visualization in study after study that it's very effective in planning your attack, executing your attack, and coming out successfully in the end. It's important to see yourself throughout this process of remaining calm under pressure. You are actually enhancing your performance because you're so relaxed, because you know what to do, you know how to do it. You are very, very well coached, you're feeling great, and you're going to win, and you're going to pin. That is what imagery and visualization can accomplish for a high school or collegiate wrestler. Next slide, please. Control techniques cannot be overemphasized in terms of effective wrestling. Controlled breathing slows the heart rate and reduces stress. Coach Blueball would tell us that if you can control your breathing, you can control your mind. And as you control your mind, you can control your body. You become the calm in the middle of the storm of a wrestling match. Techniques like the 4-7-8 breathing process promote focus and composure. It's a simple matter of inhaling slowly to a count of 4, holding that breath for a count of 7, and then exhaling slowly to a count of 8. And as you do this continually over a period of minutes, you find that you have become very relaxed. Your heart rate has slowed. You are filled with good thoughts, and you are again visualizing and using imagery to imagine yourself winning this match, pinning this opponent as you continue to do your breathing exercise. And between the breathing that you are doing to calm yourself and control yourself, you are also visualizing and having positive images of the outcome of this wrestling match, as well as the process all the way through it. And you know that in your calm state of mind, victory will be yours. Next slide, please. Yes, it is important for high school and collegiate wrestlers to understand that they are never alone. Even though they compete one on one with their opponents, they are part of a team and that they have a coach who cares about them. Coach Blueball was magnificent when it came to modeling composure and teaching anger management skills. He always was there on your shoulder, riding with you, telling you what to do. If you were a good student, a good pupil, you had his voice in your mind throughout your wrestling match. And your teammates are very important too. They are not just on the sidelines cheering you on, but they support you during practices, they support you in your off duty hours, they support you at all times. You are part of a team, even though you compete individually. And your teammates are there for you. You can always look to them for comfort and support. It cannot be overemphasized how important coaches are and teammates are in creating a positive environment for wrestlers to succeed at all levels of high school and collegiate wrestling. Next slide, please. Yes, victory through control. A well managed wrestler stays composed, focused, and ready for victory. Coach Blueball told us on day one of our wrestling class that as a wrestler, you are not on that mat to win. You are on that mat to pin your opponent and achieve victory through control. Control of yourself, first and foremost, permitting you to achieve control over your opponent. Because even in the heat of battle, you are calm, cool, and collected. He said there are some wrestlers, national champions, who go through an entire season of dual meets and they do not lose a single match. Because he said for them, walking onto the wrestling match is like walking through the park. They know where they are, they know why they are there, and they know what they're doing, and they do it in accordance with what they have been taught. And they are very relaxed. They enjoy wrestling, they enjoy what they are doing, and most of all, they enjoy winning because they have achieved victory through control. Thank you for listening to my presentation on anger management for high school and collegiate wrestlers. Thank you, Dr. Eplin. Goodbye now.